Hi everybody, it's Robin with Uniquely Robins. This week we're working on Kelly Watson's Witch's Cauldron digital kits. This is the kit here I showed you on Monday. If you didn't see that video, go back and watch Monday's video. That's just a really short video. It shows all the pages that are in this. And I have a book here that I picked up at a thrift store. It's called Sewing Made Easy. I took the insides out of this book because we're going to use this as our cover. I did leave all the pages together because I'm going to use those in a sewing journal later because it has some really good sewing tips and tricks and stuff in it that would look really nice in a sewing journal. So we're going to hold on to this. I'm not going to throw that away. So this is what we're left with, is the cover. And this book came out really easy because it was just glued in on the papers. The first thing that I'm going to do is we're going to turn it over. And I have some tissue paper here. And you can use tissue paper, you can use regular paper, you can use parchment paper, whatever you decide to use. I'm hoping this is enough tissue paper. Excuse the noise there for a minute, but I want to crunch this up really well because we're going to decoupage that onto our cover. And it doesn't matter what color it is or anything like that because we're going to paint it afterward. Get my mat here so I'm not making too big of a mess on my desk. So I just crinkle this up, really well because we want this to look like an old book. Try not to rip it, but you want it crinkled well. Alright, and I also have some twine here. I'm going to cut me a generous piece off. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to fold it in half because I want it, or I'll just cut two pieces so that way we know it's, because I want to put ridges in this book. This one didn't have ridges, but I want to put them in. So I'm going to cut these for that. And I want to make sure we have 3 of them. So I'm going to cut me 6 little pieces of this twine. Now you can use string, rope, chipboard works too, or just really a couple pieces of really thick cardstock would also work if you want them thicker. I just wanted these to be like rounded ridges on here, so just the little short ones. So that's what we're going to do with that. I was running low on Mod Podge and it was getting a little thick, so I watered it down a little bit, and I'm hoping I didn't water it down too much. It'll still work even if I did, it just takes longer to dry. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be very liberal. I might have got that too thin. Might have to get some more and put a thicker coat on it afterward, but I'm going to use this bigger brush because I want to cover a lot of space. This is awfully watery, I don't know. It's an old jar that I had that I had bought some more and was using it because I thought I was out, and I found that I had still a little bit in this. Just hoping it's not too watery. I'm going to let that sit for just a couple minutes. I'm going to look over here and make sure that I don't have any more. I was thinking that I had a small bottle. have to get some more. Okay, well, I'm going to take these. I do want to make sure they're the same size. And I want to put them very close together. If it sticks up a little bit right there, I'm not worried about that because that'll be covered with my tissue paper. Well, maybe this will work. I got that one just a little long. Let's trim that off. I don't mind if it's a little long, but I don't want it way long. Now, this is kind of a messy process, but I think worth it in the end. Okay, take these two pieces. Pretty close to the same length, but let's trim that just a tiny bit. Get back there. Okay. I want to clean off my scissors real fast because I don't want them to get all mucky. Okay. Now this may stick to this a little bit. That's okay. I'm not too worried about that. I am going to use a liberal amount on these. I want that to lay a little flatter. And this will have plenty of time to dry while we work on some of the other stuff. Goodness. I like using these old book covers. Give them a second life. Okay. Now we're gonna, and it doesn't matter if you rip your tissue paper a little bit, because I think we're going to piece this on. I don't want it to be too perfect, because I want this to look like a very old, like witch's book. I don't want it too awful straight or anything like that. Now I do want this middle part to be rather flat, because I am going to put one of the pictures on the front of the book. So I'm going to try to get it kind of flat in the middle. I want it to be wrinkly on the outside and things, but I want it to be kind of flat right in the middle, so I can put my paper on there. And that won't happen until after we get it all painted and everything, so. Pull it down this way. It's not quite hitting that corner. There we go. And if you rips a little bit, no problem, just kind of push it back down. Because the rips here and there will give it a lot of character once you get it painted, the rips and the wrinkles. I just want it kind of flat, not really flat, but kind of flat in the middle there. That's a good wrinkle there. And I want enough hanging over the edge so I can go on the inside of the book as well. I do want to carry this to just, you know, a rim around the inside of the book. I'm going to add another piece here so I have enough for the inside. Okay. Now let's do the back. Just slide this over a little bit. Make sure we have that little bit of hangover all the way around to go on the inside. Now this is the back, so I want it to be pretty wrinkly. So I'm gonna add some Mod Podge just here and there to make my paper a little easier to move around. Kind of glue the front piece and the back piece together. I will put a finishing coat on this once I get it all to where I want it. Right now, I know it seems like I'm adding an awful lot on here, but I find it works really well because it lets you move it. It takes longer to dry, of course, but like I said, we have other stuff to do while it's drying this week, so we'll just let it dry for, you know, a couple days if it needs to. Okay. I'm just kind of pushing this glue, make sure it gets into all the little cracks and crevices. These little pink things that you get at the Dollar Tree work really well for moving your glue around. It's really thick there, so I want to make sure it's underneath and on top. You want to go like every which direction. Try to get those air bubbles out. So you can see that air bubble. And if you get to an air bubble, just kind of stab it and then push it back down. A very forgiving process if you want it to look old. Old and used and abused. I thought I saw another air bubble right there. Whoops, wrong end. If you find a spot that looks thin or looks like it has too much showing, just add a piece. Just trying to be a little careful where my strings are because I don't want them to, I don't care if they move a little bit. I just don't want them to be really whopper-jawed. Got an air bubble right there. Then you can just push it out. You want to make sure, especially you don't have any big air bubbles, because they will crack if it gets too dry before you get them out of there. Now you can always poke a hole in them and then reapply a little bit more Mod Podge. That will help to get them out. Okay. So make it look like old wrinkly leather, or I've made one that I did this with and made it look like skin was sewed together to make it. You know, sky's your limit. Use your imagination. am feeling better, and I appreciate everybody's prayers for my uncle. He's going to be sorely missed. He's a very, very sweet man. My aunt had a good one there. All right, now we're going to you ever do something and hope that it turns out right? I have done this before. My Mod Podge wasn't quite as wet. You can see the big difference from the back to the front, how it's more wrinkly back here. Than on the front. So I'm going to add some around the edges, just because I want some wrinkliness on it. I just want to be able to put one of the digitals on the front, kind of here in the middle. So I'm just going to put this around the edges to make it look a little older there. You could just use all your little scraps up this way. There we go. Like I said, it's a messy process, but very fulfilling in the end. About the only thing you want to make sure is you have enough around the edge to go inside a little bit when you get to that point. Okay, sufficiently messy. Just gonna do some stippling on here too to give it even a little more texture. Get around the edges really well. And somewhat this will stick to the mat somewhat, but that's okay. It'll just add to the old and tornness of it. Okay. Wrinkle these up just a tiny bit more. Pushing them around where I want them to go. And like I said, it doesn't care. It doesn't matter what kind of paper you use or what color, because we're going to paint all this before it's all over with. Just make sure with your Mod Podge that you wash out your brushes right away, or you will not have brushes. All right, I'm going to set this over out of the way to dry, somewhere it's not going to get messed up or moved around. And that will take a good 24 to 48 hours to dry really well before you want to mess with that. Excuse me. I want to wash those out right away, so I'm not going to, this video won't be really long because I don't want those to get mussed up. Now I've got some red cardstock here, and I folded those in half. Got a little bit of splash on there, I think. for our pages. And tomorrow I will show you how we're going to make the pages for the book and how we're going to make our spine for inside the book. And this is a little different spine. I've seen people make them similar to this, but you know, I'm old school. I've taught myself. And I will tell you that this spine, every time, it takes me a couple of times practicing it, because it's been a while since I've made one like this, to get it right. For some reason, my brain doesn't want to wrap around how to fold it right. But we will get to that tomorrow as well. Let's pick what we want to put on the front of our book. I was thinking about this wolf. And it says, "There are nights when the wolves are silent and only the moon howls," by George Carlin. And I was thinking about this, putting this on the front too. Or this one, it says, "From chaos to order." I'm not sure if there was any. That one doesn't, not as bright for the front as I want. That one could be an option, but I kind of like it when it says something. Love that owl. Yeah. So I would say either between the wolf, this cauldron, or this where it says "From chaos to order." So if you leave me a message down below and let me know which one you would prefer I use on the front, or you'd like better on the front, between the wolf, this one, or this one. Could even use that one, I guess. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air. That's kind of cool. So one of these four. Just either put wolf, cauldron, chaos, or cat down in the comments below to let me know what your pick is, and we'll see, you know, who has the majority, who the majority wants, which one the majority picks, and maybe I'll go with that. So yeah, leave me a comment below and let me know which one of these four you think would make a good cover for our book, as we are making this together. So, and then tomorrow we will go through how to fold the spine and start covering our pages. I did print some of these out, just white on the back, a whole set of them, that I'm going to use for this book. And I'm hoping to have enough time before the end to at least make a one signature journal out of this as well, just the regular way. So those I did put on both sides. I printed on both sides of them, either that paper print or this, so we can make a book that way too. So let me know down below. Show the girls some love down there. Please subscribe and share my channel. I appreciate that very, very much. You guys have a great, great day. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.